Everyone to this first of the Cat at Home live Facebook events. I'm coming to you all the way from Leicester, England, in my front room here. A little bit unusual, but we're all adapting to the current circumstances that are going on. So my name, as you can see at the bottom of the screen, is Alex Macdonald. I am the product specialist for mini excavators, and we're going to spend the next 15 to 20 minutes just talking through which models we have in the range which are next generation, and some of the exclusive CAT features that we've got on these machines. And I'll go through those and explain exactly how they work, why we've added them to the machine, and sort of the value that they bring to you as a customer. So the intention and the reason we wanted to do some of these CAT at Home live videos is to still be able to interact with you, our customers, at these times when we can't physically come and interact with you in person and get out there and be with you. So we just want to be able to still share our knowledge of the products. And this series is going to be going on over the next few weeks with some of my other colleagues covering different products. So we just wanted to be able to share our knowledge with you whilst we're all sort of locked down, shut down in our houses right across Europe, Africa, and the Middle East, the world in general. But we didn't want this to be a time where we were separated from you. So welcome. I hope you'll join us not only for this one, but obviously for more of these videos as we move forward through the coming weeks and cover some more products with you. And hopefully they're useful to you and you enjoy them. And yes, as we go through the presentation I've got prepared today, any questions you have, put them in the comments below. And we'll have a section at the end just to talk through some of those questions. We'll go through as many as we can, and any that we can't answer today on camera, we'll put some replies in those comments back to you at the end. So what am I going to talk to you about today? Next generation mini excavators. So when we say mini excavators, as Caterpillar, everything to us under 10 tons is a mini excavator. So you can see, I've put on your screens now, you should be able to see our entire product range that covers Europe and Africa and the Middle East. So you can see we've got 17 machines available currently to you at the moment in varying size classes. One thing you'll notice about all these machines is that they all start with a 3. So within Caterpillar, anything that starts with a 3 is an excavator. So you can instantly tell straight away that a 3 number is going to be an excavator. The numbers that then follow that will be the metric tonnage. So you can see at the top end of our list, we've got our 310, our 10-ton machine. And at the bottom end of our list, we've got our 300.9D. So that's our sub 1-ton machine, our 1-ton machine. So as mini excavators, we're covering all the way from the little 1-ton machine right up to the 10-ton machine. You will see some of our machines have letters after them. So you will see on the mid row there, we've got some Ds, some Es, and some E2s. That is the series of that excavator. So that would be a way of dating that machine as to when it was produced. As Caterpillar, we are dropping these series letters right across our product ranges. So you'll see as I go through and explain which machines are next generation, which machines will update to next generation in the future, you'll see that we actually lose those letters. But you will see that we keep some letters. So on the screen there, a good example is the 301.7 CR. So we still keep some letters at the end. So that's CR for compact radius. So those are the letters that we keep there. So you can see a lot of our machines in the mini size class are compact radius. So still have that C after them. So one thing you might start seeing in the field, you've probably seen machines out there already, or if you've driven past your dealer's yard, you may even have some machines with this brand new logo on. So this is something CAT are globally moving to on all machines. One thing I just want to make sure before we go through the next generation machines is that if you see this logo, don't instantly associate that with next generation. So this logo will come to all our machines, whether they are new to the field or next generation. So you will see this logo across the board. So those machines on the midline that I was just talking about with those Ds, those Es, you will see this new logo coming to those machines, but that does not mean that those machines are yet next generation. Just wanted to make that one clear. It can be a little bit confusing. So if I bring back up the product range, when my laptop loads, there we go. Always fun working from home. So you can see I have grayed out some of the machines on this slide. So everything that's grayed out still has that letter, and at the moment is not next generation. These next generation machines will come over the next few years as we bring the whole line of next generation machines out. So the machines that I have not grayed out, you can see we have 11 ungrayed machines there, so still in the cat yellow. These machines have already gone next generation. So what machines have we got next generation out there available for you to buy now? We have our 1 through to 2 ton range. So we've got a 1.5, a 1.6, a 1.7, a 1.8, and a 2 ton machine. So you can see those at the top of the screen, those 5 brand new machines there. And then at the bottom of the screen, you can also see we've got our brand new 6 through to 10 ton next generation machines. So a little bit of variation here as to what you can get depending on where you are tuning into this from in Europe, Africa, or the Middle East. So you can see we have a couple of models that are, unfortunately, for some places are only available in Europe. So we have the 306, the 309, and the 308, which are only available in Europe. And then we have the 306.5, which is only available in Africa and the Middle East. So we do have a little bit of variation of the machines that are available to you, depending on what region you're in. But for the features I want to go through today, I'm going to go through 3 key features with you. It doesn't matter which machine you can get them on, as long as it's a next generation machine, then it'll have all the features as standard that I'm going to go through today. So what do I want to go through today? So CAT exclusive features on mini excavators, things that no one else in the market has. So first one I want to go through and talk to is going to be stick steer. So hopefully some of you have already heard about stick steer. We've been promoting it through YouTube videos and other things. And with that comes cruise control as well. So we're going to talk a little bit about stick steer, cruise control, how it helps you as an operator, how it works, and where you can use it, and how it makes your life easier. So we'll go through that. I'm then going to run through the next generation monitor and a lot of the features that we house within that monitor, and the reasons we've gone to bring everything into one monitor and have that central place for you to control everything you need to through that machine. So let's have a look at stick steer and cruise control. So here we go. We're sat in the cab of a next generation mini excavator. So what is stick steer? You can see I've highlighted on the left-hand side of the screen the top of the left-hand joystick. So that joystick, we have a yellow button on our left hand. So if we tap that yellow button, we can then track the machine using the left-hand joystick. So there's no need to use your travel levers and pedals anymore. You can track the machine using your joystick. So tap the yellow button, confirm on the monitor, and the joystick forward movement will move the machine forward. Pull it back, the machine will start to go back. Likewise, left and right. So it's exactly the same control as our skid steer loaders that we've already got out there in the field. So what are the advantages to having this stick steer? So one huge point that we have tried to focus on when we've gone next generation with these excavators is bringing operator comfort to a level superior to where we've had it before. So the previous way to travel an excavator, you're either going to be balancing your foot functions and your hand functions, which for some people can be tricky. If you're not that ambidextrous, then it can be tricky balancing those foot and hand functions. Or you've got to be using the travel levers, and we tend to find if you're going forward, you move your body forward and your lower back, and you start to hunch. So you get this hunch when you're tracking machines, which, as we all know, is very bad posture. And that's something we don't want. We don't want people getting out the machines at the end of the day with back pain, lower back pain, things like that. So if you can tap your yellow button, travel the machine using your joystick, you can then sit up in the seat properly. So you're not going to be hunched over and you're not going to get that back pain. So that's one of the major advantages to having this stick steer. So if we bring cruise control now into the situation. So cruise control, I've been out with lots of customers, getting them in seats and trying this, and they'll say, oh, I heard about the cruise control on YouTube. It sounded a little bit gimmicky at first. Why would you want cruise control on an excavator? Well, there are certainly uses for it, and I'll go through those in a second. But first of all, let me tell you how it works. So you're tracking forward using your joystick steering. You then have a trigger button on the bottom of your joystick. You can see it highlighted on the left-hand side of your screen. If you tap that whilst you're tracking forward using your joystick steering, you can actually then release that joystick control and the machine will keep going forward at the speed you set it to. So two really big advantages to this are going to be if you've got to track a machine over a long distance. Quite often with mini excavators, you might be going down small or tight passages, somewhere where your truck can't get to with the machine. You've got to unload the truck and the machine and then actually track, say, 400 or 500 meters to where you actually want to use that machine. With stick steer and cruise control now, you can put the cruise control on and that machine will almost drive itself, if you will, to where you want to take it. So you're not going to be hunched over whilst you drive it all the way. The other big one and the real place we've really seen a lot of people use cruise control is, although they're called mini hydraulic excavators, you can do so much more with these machines than just excavate. So we're seeing people put tools like mowers, mulchers, brushes, brooms, all sorts of tools on these machines. And if we think about a tool like a mower or a brush, when you're using that, you want that machine to be slowly traveling forwards or backwards or sideways, depending on how you locate your undercarriage. And normally at the moment, you've got to be doing that with your feet or your hands whilst you want to be making changes to the position of the tool. So if we bring cruise control into the application of mowing, you can be tracking that machine using your left hand. Got the speed I want to be mowing at. That machine will keep moving at that set speed whilst your mower does your mowing. So there are, although it may first come across a little bit gimmicky or so, it really is a very useful feature, And I would say it's very much, we like to use the term bums in seats. So it's very much get in a machine and try it. So if you can, obviously contact your local Caterpillar dealer representative and ask for a demo, get in a machine and actually get out there and try stick steer and cruise control. Because it's one of those things where until you try it, it's hard to believe it. So please, I ask you, contact your cat dealer and get in a machine and try it. So I can hear some of you saying at the screens in all the languages you're speaking, so my left hand is now traveling machine. Simple. What's my right hand doing? Well, we didn't just leave the right hand out. So we've got two things that your right hand can be doing whilst your left hand is doing the traveling. The first one is you can now control your dozer blade at the front of the machine using your right hand. So we've now made this machine almost like a mini dozer. So you can be tracking going forwards. You can then lower and raise your blade with the right hand. Bring in to that angle blades as we're bringing on some machines, and that's on your thumb roller. So you can now be tracking the machine, lifting and raising your blade and offsetting it all just with your hands. So almost like a mini dozer. Not only that, we keep the function of dozer float. So on your right hand, when you've got it set to dozer, you can knock the joystick forwards and tap the trigger at the same time, and it will go into dozer float. So your dozer blade will open the hydraulic circuit and relax under gravity, if you will. So when you're back dragging material at the end of the day on the job site, tidying up around yourself, you can put yourself in stick steer with the dozer on the right hand, and you can tap that trigger and actually just be back dragging material, smoothing out the site. Easier than ever before. So we're making it easier for operators to operate. So not only can you operate your dozer, you can go into the next generation monitor and actually change that to be in excavator mode. So if you are doing maybe an application like mowing, as we spoke about before, you want to be traveling with your left hand, but you still want to be able to use all the other functions of the machine like you could before if you were using your feet. You can still do that. So your right hand, when in excavator mode, you keep your bucket linkage, your boom. You can then tap your trigger and make your thumb roller on the right-hand side become your dipper or your stick. So you can actually pull a trench using your boom, your bucket, and your dipper with one hand. Then on your left hand, your thumb roller, you've got the swing of the whole house. So I can pull a trench one-handed, I can then swing, dump my material, and actually swing back to the trench, all whilst in stick steer mode. So we've not taken any function away from you when you actually use the stick steer mode. So I hear you say, so if I can travel now with my left-hand joystick, why do I need travel levers and pedals? You don't. You can order a machine now without travel levers and pedals. If you want to give you more space in that cab, you can run purely just on your joystick steer and your stick steer. So it's available. We've made that an option. So if you absolutely fall in love with stick steer, you can order that machine without travel levers and pedals, giving you even more room in the cab. So any questions about stick steer and cruise control, get them in the comments below and we can go through those at the end. So let's have a little look now at the next generation monitor and what features we've crammed into that monitor for you as operators. So you'll see on this slide, I've used the word integrated or integration 3 times, and that's been quite key when we've been designing these machines. So we wanted to have one base station, one monitor at the front of the machine where you can be focusing and control everything. So top point there, integrated radio with Bluetooth connectivity as well. So on a lot of our previous machines, we've had a radio unit maybe up above yourself in the cab roof or down by the side. So what we've done now is incorporated that radio into your monitor. So one of the key things at Caterpillar, we're very much conscious of safety and we want to make these machines as safe to operate as possible. We want you to be safe in your everyday jobs. And on an excavator, your arm is out the front. Where do we want to keep your eye line? We want to keep you looking out of that front window. So we've positioned our monitor right to the side there. Previously, did we want you looking up there to adjust your radio and someone could walk across? No. So we want to bring that radio down here. So it's in your eye line, you're looking. You're always looking where you should be. So we've brought everything down into that monitor. So the integrated radio, you can control your volume, your radio station, all of those things through that monitor, much like you would in your modern day car. We've also added in that Bluetooth connectivity there. So not only now can you stream the music you want to stream straight off your phone, your smartphone, you can set that up so that you can answer your calls through the monitor. So you can now speak hands-free whilst you're operating. Obviously, we'd recommend put the machine in a safe position and then talk, but you can talk hands-free. So if the boss calls with the next job, you can see it on the screen, answer that call, and then get straight back to work straight away. So we're making it more comfortable and better for you as operators. So the next thing we've integrated into that screen is our heater and optional air conditioning controls as well. So again, previous machines, we've had heater controls maybe down to the side here or over here. And again, you're taking your eyes off where you should be looking. So we have included all our heater and air conditioning controls into that screen now. So you're still going to be looking forward and look straight down to the screen. Everything in one easy place, easy to find. Not only that, I just said optional air conditioning, right? So which machines do we have air conditioning on? We have air conditioning on our next generation machines all the way down to our 301.6, our 1.6 ton machine we now offer air conditioning on. No one else in the market can offer air conditioning on a machine that small. So just a nice little one to throw in there, air conditioning all the way down with our sealed and pressurized cab right down to our 301.6. So our next point to come to is our adjustable operator settings. So what do I mean when I say adjustable operator settings? What I mean here is we can go into our monitor in our machine settings section, and through that we can set as a program for the whole machine. If you want, originally you can either choose that machine to function slow, medium, or fast. So you can slow, so depending on how you like to operate or potentially the application you're doing, you can slow your hydraulic functions down on that machine. So say we're doing some grading work, we're doing some really fine work. We can turn up the sensitivity of your controls, much like you would on your video games, on your controller. So you can make those controllers more sensitive. You can then change the flow that's going to the cylinders as well. So not only can we do this for the machine as a whole, so say we're doing some grading work, we want to put it in slow and we want sensitive controls done. We've done it as the whole machine. We can do some grading work. Say we're doing some trenching work and we want to be highly productive. We want to have the machine working as powerfully as it can. We can turn that up. But say I just want to change one function. Can I do that? Yes, you can. So through the monitor, you have the option to go in there of your swing, your boom, your dipper, and your bucket, all four functions, the main four functions of the machine. You can change them individually. So you can change the sensitivity of the controls for that function, and you can change the hydraulic flow to that function as well. So we're giving operators so much adjustability in these machines, and it's all controlled through this next generation monitor. So every operator, no matter how they like to operate, whatever application they're doing, should be able to jump on this machine and set it up just how they want to operate. So likewise with that, more adjustable settings that we've got through the monitor are for our work tools or our attachments. Tilt couplers, breakers, hammers, mowers, mulchers. As I was saying before, we're seeing more and more people use mini excavators as mini tool carriers almost. So we're seeing so many tools being put on these machines now. So one thing we really wanted to focus on and make it easier for you as operators to run these tools is adding in these work tool settings. So when I say work tool settings, what do I really mean? So we have a few things that can be controlled through the monitor. So we have our flow adjustment. So we can actually change in terms of a percentage of the flow available on the machine, how much of that flow we want go into that tool at any time. So say I'm using my CAT B2 hammer on my 302, and I only want 60% of the hydraulic flow that I can send to those auxiliaries going to the hammer, because that's what the hammer runs at optimal performance. I can now set through the monitor that when I've got a hammer on, I want it to be 60% of that flow I've got available. Not only that, we have another function which I haven't mentioned yet, and it links in nicely to our application of mowing that we talked about before when we were looking at the stick steer and the cruise control, and that is continuous flow. So a little bit before I explain that, we as Caterpillar, we like to make it easy to operate. So every function we can, we will bring up to a thumb roller on the joystick rather than having to have a foot pedal on the floor. And this is where continuous flow really comes in. So when we're looking at running these work tools, maybe our mower for say, particularly a tool where you want that tool to be running consistently at the same speed for a set period of time. Maybe you're mowing for 10 minutes in a row. You don't want to be having to hold your foot on a pedal the whole time you want to run that tool, right? Likewise, we don't have it on a pedal. We've brought it up to a joystick, but you don't want to have to be holding that thumb roller on the whole 10 minutes that you're running that tool. And this is where continuous flow comes in. So continuous flow, turn it on through the monitor, hold your thumb roller on for 3 seconds so your tool's running at the set flow you want. After 3 seconds, the machine will know, you'll see the light come up on the dash, and you can take your thumb off the thumb roller and the tool stays running. To stop it, just hit that thumb roller again. But what it means is adding this in with stick steer and cruise control, in our mowing application, I can be moving the machine. I've got it at the speed I want, trigger. We've got the cruise control on. So I'm now moving how I want to be moving. I've set up in the monitor what speed my mower runs best at. I'm now using my thumb roller to turn the mower on. 3 seconds, and my continuous flow stays on. So my machine is now essentially mowing on its own. I'm not having to hold anything. I'm not going to be getting fatigued with my foot on a pedal or my feet traveling. Everything is running itself, which then leaves me free to be able to use the right-hand joystick to adjust the position of that mower. So continuous flow, it's just another of the great features we've got in there that just makes it so much easier to operate as an operator. We just want to reduce that fatigue for you, because at the end of the day, that cab is your office. My office, well, today it's my front room. Normally it's on the production facility, but that cab to you is your office. And we don't want you leaving that office at the end of the day with a sore back, because at the end of the day, it reduces productivity. It makes your life less enjoyable. So we want to make all these features, make it easier for you to operate. And then finally, you'll see there, I've got one that says attachment presets or work tool presets. What do I mean by that? So I've just been telling you about all of these things you can set up for your work tools, and you might be thinking, well, do I have to set these up every time I want to use each work tool? No, you don't. So we've put preset work tools in the monitor. So we've got tilt couplers, mowers, mulchers, breakers. They're all reset in that preset in that monitor, ready for you to go. And the brilliant thing is, you get your machine with your mower, and you say, oh, my mower runs really well at 80% flow. You drop out of your mower and you select your breaker, and your breaker runs well at 60%. Those presets remember those settings. So when you go back, swing around, pick up your next tool, it's going to be set up ready for you to go straight away. So we're making it easier than ever and comfortable for you to operate these machines. So you will see I've got one more point on this slide, and I'm actually not going to cover that today. So what that says is tilt rotator integration. So I'm going to leave that to my colleague, Jürgen Hendricks, who is going to be live with you at exactly the same time as I've been on today. So 12 midday British summertime, or 1 p.m. for Central European time. Jürgen Hendricks is going to be live, coming to you from the Netherlands tomorrow. And he is going to be talking about all the brilliant features we've got on our brand new CAT tilt rotate couplers and how they integrate into this monitor. So I will leave that up to him. What we're now going to do is go down and have a look at some of the questions below and see if I can get you some answers to some of those questions you've been asking as we've been going through. Hopefully so it looks like, so we've got one come through from Becky Mulligan. So does the monitor include machine security? Yes, it does. So that was one thing I didn't actually cover during the bit where I just covered the monitor. So machine security, yeah. So we are aware that these machines are out there either in rental applications or as your owner operators. These machines, we don't want them getting stolen. They're very easy targets. Plant theft's a common issue. So yes, we have integrated our security into the monitor. And the features we have with that, so the base security would be, you have the option to have up to 25 4-digit PIN codes to unlock that machine. So you can go in, just put a 4-pin in, and it'll unlock the machine. Something else we're bringing out with the next generation excavators as well is Bluetooth key. So what does this Bluetooth key do? So it's almost like keyless entry almost on your car. So your Bluetooth key, say you've got it in your pocket and you walk up to that machine, the machine that it's pre-registered to, you walk up to that machine, the sensor in the machine is going to automatically realize, oh, the key's within the vicinity, this machine can start. So if you don't want to have to be putting pins in every time, you can get the Bluetooth key option and actually have it automatically unlock as you walk up to that machine. You can set up to 25 either pins or the keys to each machine. So if you've got different operators on different machines, you can set them up or give them the codes just for certain machines, or allow their key to operate your certain CAT machines. So that was our first question. I hope that covers security there. Do we have any other questions coming through? Have a look at my sheet. Next one's just come through. So we got one come through from Anne. Is the monitor just in English? No, so that's another thing I didn't actually cover when I went through the monitor. So you would have noticed on my slide, there was a section below machine settings, which said monitor settings or display settings, I think it is. We have 23 pre-programmed languages in our monitor. So no, it is not just available in English. The monitor itself is supported with 23 different languages. So we have a lot of language choices in there. So this is not just for European speakers, English speakers, sorry. Do we have any more questions? What's the next model? So I've got one, looks like it's coming from Belgium. Yes, from Yuri. Good friend Yuri. What's the next model that will be launched in the next generation range? So you saw, if we think back to the slide that I had at the start, I said we've launched our 1 through to 2 ton machines, and we've launched our 6 through to 10 ton machines, which by simple division means we have the middle range still to come. So they will be launched approximately all at the same time. So you'll start seeing those machines come through in the next couple of years. So they'll be, it's not just going to be an individual machine that's coming next. We will bring the rest of the range out in time coming through next year. So it's not a specific one machine that's coming next. It'll be essentially the rest of the range. So I hope that answers your question, Yuri. Next one from Naima. So what's high flow? In which models is it available? Oh, so someone was listening closely. So I actually mentioned when I went through the machine lineup that we had a 309 and it was a high flow machine. So this 309 is a brand new machine for us at CAT. Now we've gone next generation. It's built on our successful 8-ton platform. So very much a similar machine to the 308, but it has 2 key differences. So why have we called it a 309? Why, if it's on the 308 platform, why a 309? Because obviously the 9 and the 8 refer to the tonnage, the weight of the machine. Well, that is because you can actually get the 309 with the undercarriage, so the tracks and the blade, from a 310. So you can actually increase the weight of that machine, increase the base footprint of that machine, which is really good in applications like land management or forestry, where potentially you're on an uneven surface, particularly in forestry, tracking over logs and things like that. You want that increased stability of the machine and the increased weight. So that's kind of why it's called a 309. But why have we called it high flow? So you may see high flow on some of our other products. Our skid steer loaders, for example, use the term high flow. High flow on the 309 is a little bit different. So we don't actually get any more flow. We just get dedicated flow. So what am I saying? We get dedicated flow. So the 309 has 2 hydraulic pumps. We've got 2 hydraulic pumps on that machine. And what that means is we then have a dedicated pump that can run just the auxiliaries, our work tools. So I've really focused on in this session, and I've said it a lot, we're seeing these machines used for a lot more than just operating buckets. We're seeing a lot of tools on there. So this 309 really plays into that. So we've got some videos out there, and you'll see on YouTube, we've got a video of our 309 with our cat mower on it. And what is happening when you run that cat mower, you're using your cruise control and your stick steer, you're using your continuous flow. So that mower's running, but then I'm now tracking the machine and I want to be moving the arm as well. So what the 309 does is when it senses that the tool is demanding more flow than just the one pump can handle, The tool flow then comes from the second pump. So you're keeping your 133 to 140 liters a minute on that 309. You're keeping all that flow going to the tool. But then because you've got a second pump, you've got that second 133 liters to actually run the machine function. So you're tracking your boom and your stick and your bucket. So that's what we mean when we have high flow. It's dedicated flow to that tool. So if you are running in an application where you need a mulcher or a mower or something that's going to demand a lot of flow from the machine and you need to use it whilst you're moving, then that high flow machine is going to be the one for you. So hopefully that answers your question, Naima. I think, we got one more. Mark Mulligan, great overview, Alex. I have a couple of questions. Can any of the features be disabled on the monitor? So yes, yes, they can. There are, once you go in, we have our electronic technician, so our sort of dealer setup. If as a dealer, or if you want to lock out some of these functions, say you've got a rental fleet and you don't want some of your customers being able to use maybe stick steer or something like that, you can get your dealer through our electronic technician to set that up to turn it off. So yes, Mark, there are quite a few features you can disable in the monitor if you don't want to use them. And question number 2 was, can you tell me about the telematics on the machine and the monitor? Yes, so as Caterpillar, we have our product link telematics. So this comes as standard on everything at the moment from, I believe it's 3 tons up. I will check that and confirm in the comments for you, Mark, but I believe it's 3 tons up. It comes as standard. And that comes in varying different levels depending on what telematics you want to be able to have from the machine. Obviously, we had the previous question about the machine security. This is that further step that if you need to be able to track the machine, or potentially you maybe just want to manage your fleet and look at hours, what's going on, how your machine's being used. Yes, we have that available through our product link channels. And if you've got any more, I guess, specific questions on that, Mark, for your territory, I'd suggest contacting your Caterpillar dealer, as what we can offer does sometimes vary from territory to territory depending on legalities and laws. So we got any more questions come through? Last question come in from Poland, I hear. So I was waiting for that one to come through. Is it true that this new machine has some features for servicing? So one of the points I haven't really touched on at all today was how easy these machines are to service. So Jan, I think you might possibly be pushing towards maybe our 1 to 2 ton tilting cab. So through our next generation 1 to 2 ton machines, we actually have a tilt cab on that machine, which can be released by just undoing a few bolts. And that gives you full access to everything you could possibly need to get to on that machine. But one thing I would say about that is that tilt cab doesn't actually need to be lifted for any of your daily checks or the majority of your servicing. So what we've really focused on in these next gen machines, and you'll see we've changed the way we design the machines from some, say, our E2 machines. So if anyone saw a 308 E2, you'll see that we went to flat steel panels away from bigger curved panels because they are less susceptible to damage. They're actually inset into the main frame of the machine. But what we really focused on when we changed the design of the doors was still having everything accessible from ground level for servicing. So yes, we always design our machines so that, say, for example, on the engine, all service items on the engine are facing out to the back of the machine. So your filters and anything you need to access will be facing to the back of the machine. So yes, service, we've really focused on making these machines overall cheaper to both own and operate. And obviously servicing is a key one there. So I'm not sure if we've got any more questions come through. Just check. So we got one come through. Not sure who it's from. See if it pops up on the screen. So the question is, how wide? So it's come from Andy Gordon. So Alex, On steel undercarriage, how wide could you go on the steel pads on the 308, 309 for operators working in boggy conditions? So 308 and 309, we've got different track options there. So you can have the 308 on a rubber track if you want, and that rubber track is 450 millimeters wide, both sides. We then go up to our steel track, as we call it, a triple grouser. We have our steel track, again, 450 millimeters wide. We have the option to have bolt-on rubber pads to that steel track on the 450 millimeter wide track. But I think what Andy's going at here is we also have a 600 millimeter track, both for the 308 standard undercarriage and the 309 or 310, the large undercarriage. So if you're working in boggy conditions, as you say, you can actually run a 600 millimeter wide steel track on that machine. So hopefully that answers your question there, Andy. And I believe it looks like that's all the questions we've got. If any more pop up, or if you've got any more questions and we haven't had time to answer them today, please put them in the comments below. We'll be going through and I can answer some of those with comments as we go through. As I said at the start, we will link you to some videos so you can go and check out that stick steer and the cruise control. But as I said, it really is about getting in that machine and trying it for yourself. So if you can contact your local CAT representative, your CAT dealer representative, get on the phone to them or drop them a message, however you contact them. Try and get yourselves in one of these machines to demo it, to try it out, because trying is believing. It really is with the next generation. So I guess that rounds us up. It's been different for me joining you today. It's been good fun. Hopefully we can do another one in the future. And obviously we've got the rest of our series coming up. So exactly the same time tomorrow, my colleague from the Netherlands, Jurgen Hendricks, is going to be talking to you about tilt rotators. So very topical to what I've been talking through today. Hopefully this has been useful for you guys. And hopefully you can tune in tomorrow as well. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.